The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on. What up, Cosmic Cousins? So y'all already know why I'm here. It is time to do some retroflect with Mercury Retrograde, child. And it's another deep introspect. Now, I told y'all before that every single Mercury Retrograde that we have this year is going to be in a water sign. So that lets you know how deep it gets. And this time, we are definitely doing that Mercury Retrograde in Cancer. Now, of course, the sun is in Cancer, so it just adds this little special spotlight to this area. And honestly, this energy is really giving trilogy, okay? The first part was Pisces. We closed out a karmic cycle, not only for us, but some ancestors as well, because we're talking about 100 years and then some. We did some retrospect on how we can bring our dreams into reality, focus on our mental health, as well dealt with that self-saboteur that lives in us all, okay? Now, with that being said, this time Mercury is begging us to review the root of things, our family, our lineage, our home life, our empathy for others, as well as our intuition. Child, you know Mercury ain't never came to play with us. Now, with that being said, before I get too deep into it, because you already know I got the tea on what this energy is finna be. But before I get too deep into it, go on and hit that like, go on and subscribe to your girl, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea that I want to sip with you. Now, let's dive straight into it, because you know I don't want to keep you long, and I got to get into it because we're doing all 12 signs. First, we want to do a brief overhaul of what this energy means for the entirety of us, you know, the collective. First off, this energy is very nostalgic, okay? So expect people from your past to definitely be coming to your presence, okay? Now, just like I tell you, if it's, especially when it deals with lovers or any old relationships or anything like that, do not, I repeat, do not start anything new around this time, because typically after the retrograde has settled and we have gotten back and the planet has started going forth again, whatever was started around that time typically ends, okay? Now, the reason why Mercury retrogrades definitely kind of put a little bump in the road is because of the fact that it's ruled by Mercury, and Mercury deals with everything local, everything community, everything routine, our cars, anything that's dealing with communication as far as transportation, and most importantly, it deals with our mental, our mind, our ideas. Now, I told y'all before, when it comes to retrogrades, it does not mean that this planet is completely stopped, okay? It just means that it's insanely slowed down to the point it looks like it's stopped. It's just like being on the highway and we're still in the fast lane, and Mercury has then gotten in the slow lane and has slowed down, okay? So even though it feels like we're speeding right past it and it feels like it's stopped, it actually has not. It's just slowed down immensely to give us a chance to be able to reflect on some things. Now, with it being in a sign like Cancer, like I said before, Cancer is very nostalgic. It deals with our family. It deals with the root. It is the mother. It deals with the womb. And it deals with our whole nurturing system. Nostalgia and conversations are going to be like the major themes of this retrograde, okay? There's going to be a lot of memories coming back forth. And there's definitely going to be a lot of emotional conversations that's going to be had, because Cancer is an emotional sign. It's ruled by the moon and it deals with our emotions, okay? So this definitely is not going to be an easy Mercury retrograde, okay? Definitely going to be some difficult conversations that are going to be had for a lot of us, maybe even some maternal wounds. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. This isn't going to be easy because Mercury is so logical, but you know, Cancer ain't really all that logical, okay? It's very emotional. So we're literally talking about logic versus emotion. Now, with that being said, you can count on a lot of people ruling logic out and just going straight off of emotions, okay? This is definitely not the time to try and argue somebody down. Allow people to feel whatever they want to feel, okay? Allow them to be in their feelings during this time. This energy can bring about a lot of passive aggressive type of energy, very much emotional projection, a lot of manipulation, and it can also create a very sensitive and moody type of environment for you, okay? And this is just for everybody. I ain't talking about nobody specifically. Now, I do have to say, those, of course, who have their Mercury sitting in Cancer, and those who are Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising, of course, you're going to feel it a little bit more than us, okay? As a matter of fact, all my cardinal signs is going to feel this energy heavy, and y'all got a lot going on right now with y'all's energy, so it's definitely going to be felt on an extreme type of level because there's so much going on right now in the sky. Virgo and Gemini, Sun, Moon, and Rising, y'all already know what it is. Y'all go through this every single time, so y'all already know what it is. But of course, you know I'm gonna get to breaking it down here in a minute. Let's talk about the family drama for a second. Let's dial it back to the family drama, because there's gonna be a lot of that. So it'll be a lot of that. Most retrogrades, you know, you be having to deal with your exes coming back, and there's still probably going to be a little bit of that here and there. But this is definitely a little bit more intimate. This is going to hit home. No pun intended, because, you know, Cancer represents home. I'm just saying. It is, though. Do not be surprised if you have some forgotten old childhood memories that come up. Any type of domestic situation that is not good, those conversations will be had and things will be brought to the forefront. There actually is no escaping it, okay? There is definitely going to be a highlight for your comfort zone. If things are being done because of comfort, it's definitely going to be highlighted during this time. And I'm talking about habits, the people that you deal with, or just any type of toxic ways, just in general. If the past was ever coming back to haunt you, this would be around the time when it would appear, okay? Now, because of the fact that the Cancer mind is so emotional, okay, any rhyme and reason definitely goes out the window. I told y'all that before. So you desperately have to be aware of the type of decisions that you are making during this time. Make sure that you got a little bit of logic still in there, okay? This energy can create a lot of brain fog because of the fact that you are clouded by just your emotional judgment. I'm just saying. This is why it is definitely not wise to enter any type of contracts, because Mercury deals with contracts, okay? And I'm talking written or verbal, okay? Don't tell nobody you finna do nothing. Now, because of the fact that we are dealing with water signs, we are talking about the intuition, but because of the fact that we are in a Mercury retrograde, your intuition might be a little slowed down around this time, okay? However, your dreams, they're going to be popping, okay? It's going to be going down in the dream world. Go ahead and get your notepad for that. Take note of any dream that you may have. Now, our dreams are basically our subconscious way of communicating with us. And this is why I advise that, and especially during a time right now where we have so many changes going on in the sky. Now, because of the fact that Cancer does have that hard outer shell, it is very protective energy. So this is going to be a time for you to review why you are so protective over yourself, who you need to protect yourself from, and what energies that you can kind of let down that protective shell for, you know? But like I said before, you know, this is always going to hit a little different for each of us based on where, first of all, Cancer is sitting in your chart. You definitely want to look in that area because that's definitely going to be affected, okay? As well as, of course, I'm going to break it down per rising sign, you know, starting with the Aries rising. Let's get straight into it. Now, this is, of course, sitting in the 4th house for you. This is that Cancer house. Now, because you have that warrior spirit, this is no different, okay? You are definitely in the trenches when it comes to this energy because, you know, this is the Cancer house. You are literally at ground zero, okay? And while you're down there, you're tearing up any of those foundations that was laid that you already know it's not going to be bearing no fruit later. This is definitely a time for you to be looking at your home life, your family dynamic, as well as what you consider to be your safety and securities. Now, I would not be surprised if you had some appliances breaking down during this time, or if some little family drama with your parents come up. It might be some childhood stuff that needs to get worked out, okay? Now, please keep in mind, even though I'm talking about the rising sign, if this isn't your sun and moon, you're liable to feel it because it's all lunar, baby. It's all lunar. Now, don't let nobody test your patience. Don't let them get under your skin. And if anybody from your mama's side of the family is trying to argue with you, just don't even take the bait. Like, let them say whatever they're going to say. I already know you, Aries energy, though. You can do what you're going to do, okay? Now, my Taurus rising, this actually sits in your 3rd house. Now, you're going to be feeling this too because the 3rd house is the Mercury house. It's the Gemini house. So you're liable to be feeling a lot of mental fatigue here. A lot of mental stress comes up around this time, as well as emotional type of conversations can come up around this time for you. Now, of course, you want to make sure you give yourself extra time on that road. Double check those emails and make sure that you're not deleting any needed files, okay? Just make sure that you're slowing down and taking that time to really think about what you're doing before you do it. Taurus energy, you typically don't have a problem with that, but during this time, you're just going to want to make sure that you pay extra close attention. Now, I would also not be surprised if you had some conversations that come up with some siblings or even a neighbor. Just be careful because these interactions could be passive aggressive and could lead to anger. And the reason why I'm saying this is because Gemini just recently went into Mars. So that's definitely going to affect you. You're going to feel that. So there's definitely going to be a lot more frustration behind the words that are being said. Okay. Now, my Gemini risings, you just heard what I told Taurus risings because yes, Mars is in your 1st house currently. Okay. And per usual, you're going to feel the fuck out of this Mercury retrograde. Okay. Mercury being your home planet and all. All right. Now, this energy is hitting your 2nd house, dealing with your finances. So we're definitely talking about that moolah, baby, as well as that self-worth, because we always talking about how we put into ourselves, how we pour into ourselves. That's Venus energy, okay? Now, with that being said, definitely watch out for emotional spending, okay? And I mean, making sure that you're not buying anything through emotion or just being way too giving of yourself emotionally, okay? Because that can go hand in hand. You're definitely going to be tempted to buy like comfort items, okay? And your anxiety might be feeling a little high. So just make sure that you do some meditation, do breathing exercises. That always works good for you, Gemini. Anytime you're dealing with any type of anxiety, do breathing exercises. That works great for you. But just make sure you step away from the shopping cart and lock your cart even if you have to, okay? Now, Cancer risings, I already told you that this is in your 1st house, so you already know what it is. Now, I'm not even going to hold you. You might be feeling like you're going through an identity crisis right about now, okay? You're a main character energy. You are definitely taking some reflective type of introspective, emotional overhaul of your whole existence, okay? Expect to feel exposed, expect to feel vulnerable. The moon is in opposition of your first house as well, so you are definitely going to be feeling highly sensitive. So just be gentle with yourself during this time. Now, if you are feeling the need to change your look up, I would wait until after the retrograde has, done its business and wrapped on up. Okay. Then if you still feel like that change is something that you want to do, then make that decision. But give yourself a little bit of time and think about it. Don't do anything with haste. And don't do anything out of emotions, okay? Now, I already know that's hard for you because that's how you live your life. But during this time, you're going to be extra, extra sensitive. So if you find the urge to just want to disappear, go ahead and do what you need to do for yourself, okay? This is definitely a time for self-care for you. Now, for my Leo risings, this energy is hitting your 12th house, okay? Now, Leo risings, you are probably feeling exhausted. And this little break is probably needed because with Jupiter getting ready to enter your first house, you are probably feeling the weight, no pun intended, of Jupiter, okay? Now, with Venus also in your first house right about now, there is a lot of energy hitting you all at once, okay? So that type of energy can all just combined can really tucker you out, okay? You're probably going to be experiencing a lot of mental exhaustion and definitely receiving messages through your dreams, okay? So make sure you another one, have that pen and pad ready by you and go on to let your subconscious go on and tell you that story that it needs to tell. Your subconscious be having tea too, okay? I would not be surprised if you find yourself just kind of wanting to just escape everything and everybody. All I can say is definitely take that time for yourself and give yourself that little break that it needs. Your light definitely loves to shine, but it shines brighter once it's been refreshed. Now, the 12th house also deals with confinement. On a spiritual level, I need you to figure out where you have been mentally confining yourself, especially because Jupiter is stepping into your first house. It definitely wants you to be thinking bigger and looking at the bigger picture. So if there are any false chains that you've been putting around yourself, just know that Mercury retrograde is going to bring that up in order to clear that on out. All right. Now, Virgo rising, this actually hits your 11th house. Now, this is that Aquarius house. And of course, Virgo risings, you're definitely going to feel this because you are Mercury ruled. Now, of course, this deals with your independence, your friendships, your community, your social networking, and just that shocking, unexpected type of energy. Now, anytime Uranus energy and Gemini energy get together, it is definitely going to spill some dramatic tea. And seeing as how Gemini is currently in Uranus, you are especially feeling this one, okay? Virgo risings, it is definitely time for you to audit your friend group as well as your social media. Now, there may just be a friendship that there is not enough emotional balance on. You could end up feeling emotionally spent after just being around it. And you gotta ask yourself, is it really worth it? Okay, the time is over from being passive aggressive. And it's time to start making a decision and really start thinking about the type of friends that you have around you and do they represent who you are today? Not who you was yesterday. I'm talking about who you are right now. In addition, there might be some heavy tea that is dropped in the group chat that is just shocking or a shocking secret that just kind of comes out of the woodwork. I'm just saying this type of energy gives that. In social situations as well, make sure that you don't discredit your intuition. Your intuition definitely knows her stuff. So make sure you pay attention to it and just don't discredit it at all. Okay. Now, my Libra risings, this is actually hitting your 10th house, which is that Capricorn house. It is a sister sign of Cancer. So you're definitely feeling this. Okay. Now, of course, that 10th house deals with your career, your public reputation, your success. Now, of course, there's some karmic vibes about it. And it definitely deals with your discipline as well, okay? Now, the 10th house is typically a very, very logical house, okay? But this energy is literally opposition energy to Cancer, okay? It just doesn't sit well in this position. Now, with that being said, you might be feeling a little bit more personally attacked than what you normally would. You might be having some regrets about your career path, maybe even some doubts on where you're headed. Now, I can honestly say you may be feeling burnt out, but please, oh, please do not act out of emotion and not plan things out, okay? This is that type of energy that will have you up and quitting a job, having you say the wrong thing to the wrong people. I'm just saying this is the type of energy that will have you up in HR, okay? This is going to be a time where you want to just keep your head down and do your own work, okay? Watch having certain conversations with certain coworkers. And if you need to vent about anybody at your job, just make sure it's somebody that don't work at your job, okay? Make sure it's somebody in your family or a close personal friend that you know you can trust, okay? And also, I watched them per my last emails, okay? Now, for my Scorpio risings, this is actually falling in the 9th house, okay? Now, this is a time where you're going to be kind of checking your journey, okay? Your spiritual journey, your career path, your belief system, your education, all of this stuff is in question, okay? All of your core philosophies, you're all rethinking all of these things. You're thinking where it came from. You're trying to figure out how you got here. Now, sidebar, if you are planning to do some traveling, Scorpio risings, you make sure that you give yourself plenty of time, okay? Expect some delays. If you are currently away from home, you may be getting homesick right about now, especially if you live far away from your family. Make sure you reach out and touch someone. Don't be afraid to pick up that phone and go ahead and do a video chat. And if you must travel, just make sure you give yourself plenty of time, okay? Now, when it comes to those belief systems, this is definitely going to be a deep one for you. During this time, this is a time where you will be questioning everything. So don't feel any guilt for wanting to know the truth, because that's exactly that ninth house energy. And that's what it wants to do, is provide the truth. Now, for my Sagittarius risings, this actually hits the 8th house, which is that Scorpio house. We're talking about some trust issues here. We're talking about maybe some paranoia going on, maybe even a little bit of shadow work that you would have to do. Of course, the 8th house is going to be deep and complex and intense. That is what it does. In Sagittarius risings, you are going to be feeling it, the thick of it, by the way. Now, please, oh, please do not go and stalk your ex, okay? This may be having you feel like going down memory lane, hopping on your social medias and looking at that ex from about 5 years ago and checking on them and seeing what they've been up to, okay? Please don't go stalking somebody's Instagram. This also may be a time where you could go through some old messages just looking for some lies, looking for certain answers of things. You might want to hit up old exes, asking certain questions. Listen, save the interrogation. Stop digging in the trash. If there is a secret that is meant to come to light, it will be shown to you, okay? The universe is definitely about exposing some things, especially right about now. Child, stop playing. That is what Mercury in retrograde does. It likes to go back and reflect. Like, remember when you had said, okay, so if there is anything that you are supposed to find out, you will find out about it, okay, secret agent? Now, because of the fact that I know that you have been emotionally charged through this is going to be a time where you are going to have to stop and think, though. You're going to have to balance that logic so you don't become obsessive and compulsive over, oh shit, okay? Now, for my Capricorn risings, this energy is hitting your 7th house, of course. Because Cancer is your sister sign, where else did you think it was going to hit? Now, you already know your relationship is a minefield right about now. You're going to have some exes probably coming out the woodwork. Now, those one-on-one partnerships and relationships are definitely getting roasted, but this is always an inner reflection, getting down to the root of things and why you date the way that you do, okay? Now, I definitely would not be surprised if some old arguments didn't come back up. Maybe some things that was discussed, but y'all just decided to get over it and just, let it go. Well, it popped back up like, hey, how you doing? There are definitely going to be some emotionally charged conversations. You might find yourself pondering over the relationships of your parents and your grandparents and just figuring out how you got here. Now, for my single Capricorn risings, these things are still coming up for you, but just more on a one-on-one type of basis because you're by yourself. You're single, okay? So you're definitely going to be doing some reflection on why you attract the type of men that you attract or the type of women that you attract. This is going to be a time when you're very reflective on your past relationships and really doing a lot of soul searching and thinking on why you date the way that you do or why you're in the type of relationships that you end up in those type of partnerships that you end up in. Now, this is definitely not going to be a time to project any fears or allow anyone to project any fears onto you. Make sure that you keep your emotional boundaries, even for those that you love the most, okay? Now, of course, Capricorn risings, if an ex reaches out, just remember that they are ex for a reason. Let's keep it that way, okay? Now, my Aquarius risings, child, of course, this is going to hit you heavy. It's in the 6th house, okay? So it's that Virgo house, which is a Mercury house, okay? So you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it, and it's going to be hitting your every day-to-day routines. Make sure that you are giving yourself plenty of time before you leave it out. Your daily routines might be feeling a little chaotic and crazy. Now, I'm not saying that you're not used to that, okay? You are ruled by Uranus, okay? You're used to a little bit of chaos in your life, but just make sure that you're giving yourself that little extra time. Check yourself to make sure that you're not doing too much. Rest and relaxation is a big thing. Now, I need you to know that you can also be dealing with a lot of stress around this time because of the fact that there is so much going on with Mercury right now, and it does make it a little chaotic when we're talking about Mercury retrogrades, and especially when we're talking about an emotional placement like Cancer. So with that being said, you can get a little bit stressed out. So you just make sure that you are taking care of yourself because it could hit your stomach, your digestive system, okay? Your energy levels need to make sure that you keep those up. And like I said, just don't stress out about the little things. Like, just take your time and slow down, okay? Now, if you notice that you are having problems with your gut around this time and your digestive system, just make sure that you are adding certain things to your diet that can kind of help with that. This is definitely not a time to take on other people's mess. You love to help people anyway, and Cancer can have you feeling extra empathetic. Just don't do it right now, okay? Let people clean up their own damn mess, okay? Now, My Pisces risings. This energy is actually hitting your fifth house. Okay. So this is definitely going to be felt as well because that fifth house is that Leo house, and Leo and Cancer run together. Okay. They go hand in hand. Now, I would definitely not be surprised if you're experiencing some creative blocks right now. If you are feeling very nostalgic about past romances, you're probably regretting some of the guys that you dated or some of the girls that you dated, or maybe some of those relationships that didn't really take off and become that commitment. You know, it didn't give really that seventh house feel, kind of got stuck in that fifth house. Well, you're probably feeling that right about now. Okay. And there's probably a little bit of frustration behind it. I desperately need you not to do that to yourself. You are going to be feeling like, what makes me happy? Reflecting on things from the past, trying to make some sense out of things. Just don't reflect on it too much, okay? The one who got away was supposed to get away. Just know that. I always say rejection is protection. So you just have to keep that in mind during this time, whether it be romance or creative venture or anything that you might be feeling bogged down with regret with right now. Yeah, if it was meant to happen, it would have happened. Okay. So don't do that to yourself. Now, if you do feel like you're blocked from any new ideas, it is because maybe it is during a time where you need to go back and look at some of the projects that you've already started and maybe just kind of give it a little bit of remix, you know, edit it out, give it a new little flair to it so you can get inspired by it and fall in love with it all over again. During this time, I do not want you romanticizing your past. I want you to romanticize your life as it is right now. Okay. Now, the most important thing that I can tell you about this Mercury retrograde in Cancer is do not confuse any nostalgic feeling as a green light to go backwards. Okay. This is not a time to go backwards at all. Okay. This is a time where it wraps up those old things so you can move forward. Give yourself that closure that it needs. It is okay to reminisce about the good old days, but know that you are currently creating memories in the life that you are in right now. Okay. Sometimes when we be thinking about the past, we tend to romanticize it anyway, and it be sounding better or seeming better than what it actually was when you was in it. So just keep that in mind. Please remember that it is okay to feel. Just don't freeze in it, okay? Bring that lesson out to the forefront so you can heal it, not unpack because you're about to move in it, okay? Yeah. Now, of course, since we are dealing with the full moon as well in Capricorn, I will be following up with my full moon in Capricorn video. So make sure that you stay tuned for that to come up and hit that notification bell so you don't miss it. And with that being said, Cosmic Cousins, I'm out of here.